Hello everyone, this is Gary with your cards of the day, and the decks that I'm using today are the Mythic Oracle by Carissa Milado, the new Mythic Tarot by Juliet Sharman-Burke and Giovanni Caselli, and I'm also using my own Greek Oracle deck today. And the first card that we have is the card of Orpheus, which has the tagline on it of faith. And the feeling that I get very strongly from this card today is one that we really have to trust our own abilities, trust our skills, and trust what we have inside of us. Now, the card shows Orpheus and Eurydice, and the legend goes that Orpheus lost his wife Eurydice. She died, and he was so stricken with grief that he travelled to the underworld and he petitioned Hades and Persephone to allow his wife to return to him. And he sang them a song. As you can see, he's carrying his lyre here, and they were so moved by that song that they granted his request, but only on the condition that he not look back at his wife until they were safely out of the underworld. Well, unfortunately, just before they made it safely out, he did indeed look back, and he saw his wife disappear before his eyes, and she was lost to him forever. And it makes you wonder why he looked back. Did he have in a sense, a crisis of faith? He didn't trust either himself, or that it was, that it was genuinely happening, or maybe he didn't trust that she was genuinely being allowed to return with him. So faith is the message with this card today, and it is a case of having faith in ourselves, but I think also faith in everything turning out the way it's supposed to. And interestingly, I'm very drawn to an aura that I'm seeing around the staff here, which suggests that we do actually have a lot of the power and the ability in our own hands, and we simply need to have faith in that. Now, our second card today is the Nine of Wands. And this is quite a cheery scene, as you can see. It shows a ship attempting to return to port, but there's this massive storm has blown up, and it's making it really, really difficult for the ship to return. Basically, the storm is interfering. Now, it's kind of interesting because you could look at this in the sort of traditional sense of the ship is actually trying to get into port, having journeyed, and the storm is preventing that. But you could also look at it in the reverse as well, that the ship is trying to leave port and is hindered in doing so by the storm. And the feeling that I get very much from this card is one of difficulties, be it in returning or in leaving. It's blockages and difficulties in sort of getting that final little step, really. Especially in the returning context. It shows that we're sort of nearly there, but almost in a sense the last mile of the marathon is always the most difficult. And I think we need to be aware that we have those difficulties around us, and not sort of ignore them. They're there, and we have to sort of learn to deal with that, really. And our third card for today is the card Zeta, which has the tagline "Flee the Storm." Now, this is why I was saying very little in the previous card, because what we have here is the actual, in a sense, advice that we have to deal with what we saw in the previous card. If basically I mean, this is a short version of the actual message, which goes on to say that it is not wise to sail during storms. And if you're looking at this from a point of view of returning during a storm, then it's a case of get into port as quickly as possible, lash everything down, batten down the hatches, and sit the storm out. If, on the other hand, that you are wanting to make a journey, you're wanting to begin something, then it's probably wise to wait for the difficulties and the storm to blow over before attempting your voyage, attempting to begin your new journey. So it's take account of the conditions around you and act accordingly, really. If things are difficult around you, and they were aspected to be from the previous card, then do what you can to wait that out. Either, as I say, get into port, batten down the hatches and sit it out, or simply wait for a more opportune moment and trust, and this brings us back to the first card again, trust that the storm will pass, the seas will be calmer, and then progress can be made as it needs to be. So if we look at these three cards together, they do confirm each other today. We have Orpheus counselling us to trust ourselves, have faith in ourselves, but also have faith in the process as well, and have faith that things will turn out the way they're supposed to. We have the Nine of Wands, which shows us the difficulty of the last mile of the marathon, and perhaps the storms that are around us at the moment, the difficulties that are around us at the moment in getting where we want to be, either back home or out onto the journey, the next journey. So there we have those difficulties illustrated. And we have Zeta telling us to sit out the storm, not take it on sort of head on. Make sure that we just cope, strategize, be patient, and trust that things will come around and will turn out the way they're supposed to. It all comes down to a matter of faith. So I hope you've enjoyed these cards of the day and this all Greek reading today. Please feel free to leave me some comments and let me know how these themes affect your day today. Are you indeed having to deal with storms around you? And be patient? Or do you feel like you're travelling through a storm, just trying to get to where you want to be? It'll be very interesting to hear. Please also feel free to check out my website, www.theseerscave.webs.com, for more information about myself, my tools, and the readings that I offer. I want to wish everyone a blessed and happy day, whatever you may have to deal with, and love, light, blessings, and frith to you all.